Every morning before the sun kissed the windows of Maple Ridge Elementary, Henry Porter arrived, mop in one hand, thermos of lukewarm coffee in the other. His khakis were always a bit too loose, and his shoes squeaked slightly on the linoleum floor. He was a janitor, yes, but he was also a father. A single one, and that meant the weight he carried wasn't just buckets and brooms, it was grief, guilt, and love, too. He had lost his wife 3 years ago. Cancer. Since then, life had been work, dinner, homework, sleep, rinse and repeat. His son Jamie was in 3rd grade now, and Henry made sure he never missed a soccer game or a parent-teacher meeting, even if it meant staying late to finish cleaning. That's how he noticed her. Lila Thomas. She sat in the back corner of the library during recess. Always alone, eyes large and haunted, hands clutching a worn, purple notebook like it held her world inside. No one really talked to her. Not the students, not the teachers, not even the guidance counselor. Because Lila didn't speak, not a single word, not a sound, rising action, unexpected connections. Henry had seen silence before. When Jamie was a toddler, he barely spoke after his mother died. But Lila's silence wasn't just grief. It was like she was locked inside a tower she didn't know how to escape from. One Friday afternoon, Henry was fixing a broken chair in the library when he heard it, the softest hum. He turned and saw Lila staring out the window, mouthing something as she traced invisible shapes in the air. A song, maybe, a memory. "You like music?" he asked gently, trying not to startle her. Lila blinked, surprised anyone had spoken to her. She didn't nod, didn't smile. But she didn't run either. Henry pulled out his phone and hit play. A piano piece. Soft, nostalgic. It had been his wife's favorite. Lila tilted her head slightly and closed her eyes. From then on, every Friday, Henry would bring a song. Sometimes classical, sometimes jazz, once even a lullaby Jamie used to fall asleep to. He never asked questions. He just played the music and worked nearby. Sometimes he'd whistle along, sometimes he wouldn't, and little by little, Lila began to smile. Then one afternoon, something incredible happened. Henry was humming a tune from The Sound of Music while dusting shelves. Behind him, he heard the faintest sound, like wind brushing against leaves. He turned slowly. Lila's lips were moving. "Raindrops on roses," she whispered, so faintly he wondered if he imagined it. He dropped the duster. Did you just say something?" Her eyes went wide with fear, like she'd broken a sacred rule. She grabbed her notebook, shoved it in her backpack, and bolted. Henry didn't chase her. He just stood there, heart thudding in his chest, his mind spinning. She had spoken, whispered, for the first time, climax, the powerful mother. The following Monday, he was called to the principal's office. Henry knocked awkwardly on the door. Inside sat Principal Ramos, and a woman so sharply dressed and cold-eyed she could have been carved from stone. Her hair was pinned back with surgical precision, and her voice carried the weight of command. "Mr. Porter," Principal Ramos said nervously, "this is Mrs. Eleanor Thomas, Lila's mother." The woman did not offer a handshake. "I understand you've been interacting with my daughter," she said, each word clipped and laced with suspicion. Henry straightened. "I've seen her in the library. Played her some music. That's all." Eleanor's eyes narrowed. "Lila does not speak. Not since the custody battle. She's under observation. I don't appreciate strange men playing therapist." Henry blinked. "I didn't mean any harm. She whispered last Friday. Just a few words. That's all. I didn't push her." There was a flicker in Eleanor's eyes. "Pain, doubt, I find that difficult to believe," she said. She sang along, he said, very softly, to the sound of music. Silence. Then, to his shock, Eleanor's lips trembled. "She used to sing that with her father," she whispered. "Before the divorce. Before everything." For a moment, the powerful woman cracked. Her eyes welled, her breath caught. And then, just as quickly, the mask returned. "Thank you," she said stiffly. "You can go." But Henry didn't move. "I'm not trying to fix her. Just give her space. A little kindness. That's all." Eleanor stared at him, and then, without another word, she turned away. Falling action. A window opens. Days passed. Henry kept showing up, kept playing music in the library, even when Lila didn't come. Then one Wednesday, she returned. She sat in her usual spot, notebook in hand. Henry didn't say a word. Just pressed play. A soft piano cover of Edelweiss filled the air. After a moment, She scribbled something in her notebook and held it up. "Thank you," Henry smiled. "You're welcome." From then on, she came every week. And little by little, she whispered more. Not full sentences, not even words, sometimes. Just a hum, a syllable, a name, mama, rain, home. It was like she was slowly building a ladder out of her silence. And unbeknownst to either of them, Eleanor sometimes watched, standing outside the library window, heart in her throat, tears quietly tracing her cheeks. Resolution: a new chapter. The winter concert was approaching. Jamie was in the school choir, and Henry was helping with backstage props. On the night of the performance, the gym buzzed with chatter. Parents, teachers, students, all waiting. As the children lined up, Henry noticed a small figure beside Jamie. Lila, wearing a white dress, clutching her notebook, and then he saw her mother in the crowd, not in a power suit, but a soft blue coat, her hair loose for the first time. Her hands trembled. Jamie nudged Lila, whispering, "You got this." The music began. The choir sang, and when the final verse of Edelweiss came, a small voice joined in, fragile, uncertain, but there. Lila, whispering the words, just loud enough to hear. The crowd was silent. Eleanor covered her mouth with her hand, tears flowing freely now. When the song ended, the applause was thunderous. But Lila didn't smile at the crowd. She looked at Henry, and whispered, "Thank you." Epilogue. A week later, Eleanor met Henry outside the school. "I owe you an apology," she said quietly. "And maybe, a coffee." Henry chuckled. "I'll take coffee. But no apologies." Lila did the hard part. Eleanor hesitated. "You helped her find her voice." Henry nodded slowly. She just needed someone to listen. And for the first time in years, Eleanor smiled. Not the cold, distant smile of a corporate executive, but the warm, teary smile of a mother, one who had just heard her daughter speak again. And maybe, just maybe, found her own voice, too.